Well, some of these that we're going to have to probably move to a separate paper, but we'll start here. And this says, identify the following, the y-intercept and the x-intercept. Well, the y-intercept, again, is where x is 0. So this is going to be 0 minus 3 squared times 0 minus 4, which is minus 3 squared times minus 4, or 9 times minus 4, or negative 36. So the ordered pair is 0, negative 36. X-intercepts, now that's where y is 0. So we're going to be looking at x minus 3 squared times x minus 4 equals 0. This gives me positive 3 and positive 4 with a y value of 0. So that's going to be 3, 4 and 4, 0. So it's going to be 3, 0 and 4, 0. Now, on this particular problem, we want the quadratic inequality, and we want y to be negative. So the first thing I look at is solving the equal equation, and that's to find the x-intercepts. And so this is where x squared plus 3x minus 10 equals 0. So this is x and x, and 5 and 2, and this has to be positive 5 and a negative 2. So x is negative 5, x is positive 2, both multiplicity 1. So I have a change of sign. So now when I go with the number line, I'm going to put on negative 5, so strictly less than, so it's an open dot. And there's a change, and a positive 2, and change. I'm going to pull test point, x equals 0. And if x equals 0, we know that we'll have 0 squared minus 3 times 0 minus 10. So y is negative, positive, change, positive, so I want negative, and that's that right there. So the answer is going to be negative 5, positive 2, not including. Now this one's going to be a lot more work, so I'm going to move to a separate piece of paper for this. And they want me to write my answers in an interval notation. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go after the equal equation, which are the x-intercepts. Now I want, again, y negative and not equal to 0. So that means I'm going to have open dots. So x-intercepts, that's where the numerator equals 0. So u squared plus 4u minus 21 equals 0. So this is u, and 7 and 3, plus and minus. So I get a negative 7 and a positive 3, multiplicity 1. So there's a change. Excuse me. And not equal is domain restriction. And this is where the VAs occur. That's where the denominator can't be 0, or u squared plus 6u minus 16 can't be 0. So that's u, and in this case it's going to be 8 and 2, and plus and minus, so this is going to be negative 8, and this is going to be positive 2. Again, multiplicity 1, change. And now I put everything on the number line. And starting with the smallest, which is negative 8, negative 7, 2, 3. And now I'm going to pull a test point, my favorite, which is x equals 0. So if I put x equals 0 in, I'm going to get 0 squared plus 4 times 0 minus 21 over 0 squared plus 6 times 0 minus 16, and a minus and a minus. Let's go minus 21 over minus 16, which is positive. So positive, negative, positive, positive, negative, positive. I want negative, so wherever I have a minus sign. So it looks like it's going to be minus 8, minus 7, union 2, 3. So that's would be here. Minus 8, minus 7, union 2, 3. Now we want this guy to be positive, so I'm going to go about it the same way. I'm going to want to solve the equal equation, and that's where x minus 3 equals 0, or x equals 3. So y positive not equal to, so we're going to have open dots. And not equal is x squared minus 16 can't be 0, that's your VAs. So x can't be plus or minus 4. And so now we're going to go on the number line, and we're going to put in minus 4. We're going to put in 3, change our multiplicity 1, and we're going to put in 4, and pull my favorite test point, x equals 0. So if x equals 0, we're going to have 0 minus 3 over 0 squared minus 16, minus 3 over minus 16. Minus divided by a minus is a plus, so that's positive. And then negative, positive, positive, negative, want positive. So that's going to give me negative 4, 3, union 4, infinity. Now this says the polynomial of degree 3 has a root of multiplicity 2 at x equal 1. X equal 1, so that's x minus 1 squared. Multiplicity 1 at x equal negative 4. That's x plus 4. So what I'm looking at is that y is going to be some constant times x minus 1 squared times x plus 4. Now they've given me that the y-intercept is negative 3.2. So I'm looking at 0, negative 3.2. So that if y is 0, if x is 0, y is negative 3.2. So we're going to have that negative 3.2 equals a times 0 minus 1 squared times 0 plus 4, or negative 3.2 is a times negative 1 squared times 4, or negative 3.2 equals 4a, or a is negative 3.2 divided by 4. That's going to be negative 0.8. So we're going to have an answer of negative 0.8 times, that should be a 0.8 times x minus 1 squared times x plus 4. And let me make this look a little bit better. There you go.